So this is going to be a comparison between the Gaggia Classic pre-2015 and the Gaggia Classic starting with 2015. I want to be your host. Howdy, I'm the Bavarian House Dad, and we're going to talk about these two awesome machines. So, why do I think that they're awesome? First of all, I'll list the things that I like about them. I really like the looks of these machines. I wouldn't have thought so based on internet photos, but actually getting them in the house, I like that they're small and compact, and this brushed stainless steel on both models. It's super nice. It just looks nice in the kitchen, and that's the first point that I like about it. It's got to look good in the kitchen. The second thing that's really great about these is that there's a built-in funnel on the top. Let's see if I can tip this one this way. That's maybe not the best idea. Anyway, right here is a funnel where you can easily pour water in. And that's a big deal because a lot of coffee machines, it's really a pain in the butt to get the water in there. Some of them even just have a small hole on the top, like the Laylits, and those you have to get a funnel for yourself. So I like that aspect quite a bit. And let's see, what else do I really like about these? What's great is they have a 58mm professional portafilter, so that's great. It's heavy duty, it weighs 500 grams or 1 pound. And so the 58mm group allows you to, first of all, use a grinder that doesn't spray the grounds everywhere, because here it's got a pretty large surface area to actually hit, so I like that. And you know, it's big and massive, so it holds the heat well, and you need that when you're pulling a shot. Ideally, you want constant heat coming from the boiler through the brew group on the bottom, through the portafilter, which should be preheated, down into your preheated cup. So I really like that it's got a 58mm portafilter. The looks are great. It's easy to fill with water. Another thing that I really like about both of these models is that they both offer the heating elements being outside the boiler. So on the aluminum model, this has an aluminum boiler. It's 80 milliliters only, it's super tiny, and it's got two heating elements in like a U shape going on the outside of the boiler. And the stainless steel one, I've read online that that's the same thing, that it's got the heating element on the outside, so that's nice that it gets less calcified and you have less chances of the thing burning up. So those are some things that I like. Let's see, did I miss anything? It's a pretty big water tank, 2.1 liters, that's nice. It's got a small footprint. It's fast to heat up, I should mention that. I really like how fast it is that these things heat up. It's just like a couple of minutes. So I had a Rocket heat exchanger machine, and it was alright, but I didn't like having to wait a half hour to make an espresso. That really sucked. So these things are super fast. That's great. The price on these is real good. I mean, I got this old one used for 170 euros or 200 bucks, and I got the new one on an Amazon Italy deal for just 125 euros or about 140 bucks. So considering everything that you get, those are great deals. So I like to get deals. What else is nice about both of these is that there's a community behind them. There's a Gaggia users community, I think it's called online. So they discuss various modifications, what you can do to get even more out of these, like adding a PID, for example. One last thing I really enjoy about these is that they're super easy to take apart. So I forgot to bring my screwdriver. I'm just going to run and get that. Right, I'm back. So this is all you need to take the machine apart. I've got them unplugged from the mains, so no worries. Whoops. Let's unscrew the first one. It's just 2 screws on the top. It's super gnarly that in 10 seconds you can take the top of the machine off and see what's in there. So there's a ground wire attached to the top. Here you can see the funnel right here. It's really great, super ergonomic. I love that. I'm just gonna take the ground wire off for now. And let's take a look inside. So this is the older model, the pre-2015 model. This is a 2014. And one thing that I forgot to mention is that these are both made in Romania. So how well can you see in there? Here is the pump. It's a really big one. I think that's an Ulka pump. It just kind of, I don't know, wiggles there in its spot. I don't know what all this stuff is. This is the aluminum boiler. And you can see the heating elements right there. It's a U shape going down and back up. There's one of those on each side. I think that, where is it? Somewhere there's an overpressure valve in there. And what the overpressure valve does is as soon as you're done pulling your shot, it releases the pressure out of the boot group here. So the point of that is to release the pressure off the puck. It should go through those hoses and down here through this pipe and end up in your drip tray. And what that should do is allow you to get drier pucks so that they're easier to get out of there. I found actually that if I grind fine so that you get a nice shot, a 25-second shot, that it doesn't dry it out actually that well anyhow. So that doesn't seem to make a big difference for me. But the thing is about the 3-way solenoid valve is that it gives you the opportunity and also the requirement that you back flush the machine. Alright, so that's the older model. I'm going to put it back together. So as you see, it's just really nice to be able to quickly take it apart, take a look if something shouldn't be working for whatever reason, and you can put it back together. In a jiffy, and that's really cool. Okay, get that screw back down. The screw doesn't really want to sit in there right. There we go. Alright, so that's the old model. Let's check out the new one. Same concept, 2 screws, 10 seconds, and you can already pull the top off this sucker. So the mains are also taken off of this one, you can see. This one has got actually 2 grounds on the top. I'm just going to put that to the side for now. Let's take a look inside this one. So you can see this one looks different. There's more going on here. The boiler actually, you can't see it as well because there's a lot of wires in the way, but it's underneath there. And the boiler is a stainless steel one. That's one of the differences in the models, is that the new one comes with stainless steel. It's 250 milliliters, and the older one was aluminum with 80 milliliters. The new one doesn't have a 3-way solenoid valve, so you can't back flush. And what else is new? This also has an Ulka pump, as you can see there. And what all these wires are for, I'm not that sure. Oops, this kind of came off of there. Alright. Let's see. So, what else is different is this steam knob is slightly different. It's just an open and close knob. So you can't actually control it in an analog fashion. It's just on or off. And it looks different. Here's plastic. I don't know what that's for. Here's plastic right there. On the older model, going from the steam valve all the way to the boiler was all brass. So the older one did seem to use nicer components. But for 125 euros, I mean, what can you really say? And so far, I have gotten about the same results espresso-wise from these two. So I'm going to put this back together, and then we'll start them both up and check out the warm-up times and the steaming ability. Water in this guy. What I wish that they really had on these, what would be super cool, is if they had a light down there, because you can't really see how much water you have in there. It's really tough to see that. Whoops. Alright, that should be enough. Made a little bit of a mess. That's alright. Okay, so let's start these guys up. I'm going to put my timer on there so that we can see how long it takes. Alright, here we go. So let's see which one's faster. So anyway, as I was saying, these will take almost a minute, I think, to warm up. As I was saying, there's some new things with the new model, obviously. The biggest thing is the boiler. It went from aluminum to stainless steel. And the second thing is that this three-way solenoid valve is missing, and a lot of people hate that. But on the older model, it turned out that the older model didn't have a whole lot of steaming power. And we're going to test that in a little bit here. So I think the steaming power is better in the newer model, and I also kind of like that it doesn't have the three-way solenoid valve because I'm too lazy to backflush anyway. So let's see, they're both still warming up. These lights are going to light up once they're up to temperature. They have two thermostats on them. The first thermostat is for brewing temperature. The second thermostat is for steaming temperature. And this light works for both. So right now we don't have the steam switched on in either model. That means that as soon as it gets up to the first thermostat's pressure, temperature, it's going to light up. Oh, you see that? The old model was faster. It made it about 123, 120. And the new models, I have to wait and see. And they're both dripping a little bit out of the group head. I don't know why. Considering the price, it doesn't bother me that much. Huh, look at that, it just went off. I wonder why I did that. Did it already switch in its cycle? What else I did notice is that the older model heats up the portafilter much more quickly. So this one, okay, it just switched. You could hear it too. So 2 minutes. The first, the older model took 1:20. This one takes 2 minutes, or at least in this example it did. And I don't know why it is, but this portafilter gets heated up in, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes, I think. While this one you probably have to wait 20 minutes or so. That means you have to turn this on and off a couple of times. And what I mean by that is that this newer model has an automatic shutoff timer. A lot of people hate that too, because with an espresso machine you want everything to be up to temperature. But I like it because I have a terrible memory, and for me it's nice to have the peace of mind to know, okay, did I forget to turn it off? I don't know, but I know it turned off automatically. So that means I'm not going to run out of water, I'm not going to burn up the heating element or burn down the house. Alright, they're both up to brewing temperature. This one keeps turning off and on, so I'm not sure why it's heating actually. Maybe it's that small boiler. Oh, there it goes. So that means it's up to temperature. As soon as it goes down, that means that the thermostat has kicked off and it's going to be heating up again. Well, let's check out the noise on these. How does that sound? So the old model, let's listen to that. Not bad. New model. I think the new model is a little louder, a little more throaty. What you'll notice here is that these are flip switches on the older model, and on the newer model these are push buttons. So some people prefer one or the other. I don't really mind either one. They're both fine. Alright, let's do the next test and see how long to move up to steaming. So let's stop the timer. I'm going to do one at a time, because what I want to do next is I want to take this cup here and I want to steam for a minute and see how much water I collect. And in order to have a fair comparison, I want to turn one into steam mode and collect the water, and then turn the second one into steam mode and collect the water, because if I turn them both into steam mode at the same time, then probably the second one is going to end up being at a higher temperature for longer, and it might end up losing steam. So let's give this a shot. We're going to do one at a time. Alright, start the timer. As soon as I turn this switch here to the steam mode, that means that we're going to look at the second thermostat, which is set at a much higher temperature. So the light goes off because it's heating. Oh, and what I did do on this machine is I put a Rancilio Silva wand on there. It's a little nicer than the one that it came with. See if I can get a close-up of that. Yep, there it is. Okay. So far, 30 seconds. What I noticed is that on the newer model, when I'm moving up to steam mode, actually it will start dripping out of the brew group. Here, it doesn't seem to do that. Okay, so anyway, 50 seconds. I tested it before too, and the last time I tried that a few days ago was also 50 seconds, so that's not bad. Alright, what we're going to do now is set the timer for a minute. I'm going to purge it here just a little bit. Alright, purge a little bit of water out. Let's see if this has got steam, first of all, for a minute long, and we're going to see how much water we end up collecting. Kind of out of steam already. About half a minute in. I noticed that when I was trying to steam for a cappuccino, that I got a swirl in the beginning, and you need that swirl to get nice microfoam. And it didn't take long and I didn't get a swirl anymore, so it just kind of ran out of power. You can see the water jumping out of the cup, so I'm not actually collecting everything. Alright. So there we go. Let's see how much did I collect in there. Not that much. I would guess the first line is 50 milliliters. Probably like 20% of the way there, 25%. Probably like, I don't know, 15 or 20 milliliters in there. Don't know how you can see that. Alright, now we gotta purge the boiler because it's super hot. So let's do that. I'm going to put this back over here and turn the pump on and open the wand. Alright, good. So I got the boiler back down to coffee temperature. It took me, let's see, how much did that take? To cool the boiler down exactly 100 milliliters. That says 100 right there. I can't really see it that well. Alright, let's do the same thing on the new Gaggia. By the way, with the new Gaggia, I didn't replace the steam wand. The one that comes with is fine. All you have to do is take off the plastic stuff that comes on. There's what they call a panarello, and it's not very helpful. It just gives you foamy milk, and you can't get microfoam out of it. Alright, so I'm going to turn this to steam mode and see how long it takes. Remember, this one on the left took 50 seconds. Let's see how long this guy takes. And I don't know why it does it, but this one actually, when it's going to steam mode, it kind of mictrates out of the group head. And I don't really care for that, but like I said, for 125 euros, what are you going to do? I've taken that shower screen off and found out that behind it there's a little like spring valve, a rubberized spring valve, and it seems that the steam pressure is so great that it actually opens up the valve. Well, it ends up stopping. Once it gets up to temperature, you see, okay, it took me a minute, I think like 58 seconds. Now we're up to steam temperature. I'm gonna purge the wand. Okay, now let's steam for a minute. Let's see what happens. Should probably try to lift the cup up a little bit. All right, let's go to town. And steaming for a minute. It's making a big mess. It's also kind of starting to lose power, actually. But it's still got some power. So you can see it's still pretty much going to town. just not as much power as in the beginning, but actually it's enough to do all right. It's certainly better than the older model. Alright, and that's it. Oh boy. What a mess did I make, son of a gun. Good thing my wife's not home. Let's see, how much have I got in there? I mean, you'll see I got probably 25 milliliters in there. So that's about, it's similar. And I would say that it's probably proportional to the older one, because the older one ran out of steam after about 30 seconds. So that's that. Now we gotta cool the boiler down. Let's see how much water I need to do that. And now for this machine, I don't need to leave the steam switch pressed on. I can just open up this knob here and water, hot steam, and then water is going to come out of the steam one until I cool down the boiler enough. On the other hand, with the older model, you have to keep the steam switch switched on while you're purging the hot steam and water out, because that keeps the three-way valve, I don't remember if it's open or closed, but whatever the case, if you keep the steam switch on and open up, the valve here will only come out through the steam wand and not the group head. And if you switch this off while you're purging, it's going to come out of both, and it's also kind of a mess, and it's not really what you expect. Alright, so time to purge. Alright, let's see. Let's just see how long it takes me also. So it takes me 15 seconds and 50 milliliters of water. And that's important to me because where we live, we have super hard water. It really sucks. So the issue with super hard water is that it calcifies everything, including coffee machines, your water cookers, all kinds of stuff. You have to spend extra time cleaning the shower, whatever. So the less water that I have to waste on here means the less that I have to filter and watch out about getting the machines calcified. Okay, so that's that. What you'll notice is that I got this sweet bottomless portafilter. I got this for 35 euros, including shipping, from a dude in the UK. And so these are super nice to see how well your grind is and how your tamp is. So that's nice. And that's one of the advantages of the Gaggia, is that you can get these 58mm parts. They're really common, and you can experiment. So let's see. I think that I went through everything. All right, some final thoughts. Just a little bit. All right, some final thoughts. Okay, I love these machines, and for my background, I've had a dedicated EC680, which is a cheap machine, but you can do some modifications to get actually decent espresso out of it. I've had a Rocket Evo version 1, which is a heat exchanger machine, and I didn't like that one because it just ate so much water. You had to do these cooling flushes, and I think that just while it was heating up, it was somehow wasting water. I think somehow it was like, I don't know, when it was making steam, it seemed to lose water. Whatever the case, I had to fill that thing all the time, and it was a real big pain in the butt. So I got rid of that. And in comparison, for the price that you get these at, I mean, That's wonderful. Super cheap. I think they look really handsome. I like the gray color. I like the stainless steel. I really like the 50mm portafilter that gets super hot. I like that they're small and compact. They have a good size water reservoir. Well, I went over the things that I like before. Now, in conclusion, I'll just mention a couple things I don't care for, and one of them is this drip tray. It's really flimsy. I mean, like, super flimsy, really light, and haptically, it's not very nice. And it just kind of, it doesn't sit in there very well. It just kind of, you know, it's a little bit loose. But, you know, big deal. For the price you pay, it's totally fine. I can deal with that. There was one more thing that I didn't care for that much. Oh yeah. I guess so far what I'm a little disappointed in is I haven't gotten really good reproducibility out of these. So I've had a couple of pretty darn good shots, and I've had a whole bunch that were just okay. They seem too thin. I'm not sure. It probably has a good amount to do with user error, but I know you can get good shots from these, and if you want better reproducibility, you can even get a PID kit for these, and that will make the starting temperature at least always the same, and should help the temperature be more stable. So that's it. That's the Gaggia, the older model and the newer model. They're both made in Romania, at least my 2014 model. This one was made in Romania, just as well as the new ones are. What I also realized, by the way, is that this is pretty hot. On the old model, the cup holder area, it's already so hot that I could probably just hold my hand there for maybe 10 or 15 seconds. The newer one, it's cooler. It's warm, but it's not hot. But the portafilter's hot. So I think that that has to do with the fact that the boiler's really low in here. It's like probably ends here, and on here the boiler goes up higher. So that's it. Like I said, the older Gaggia with the aluminum boiler, the tiny boiler with less steaming power, with the flip switches, and with internals that look a bit cleaner, and I think a slightly higher quality. There's less plastic in there. And the newer model with a stainless steel tank, which I do like because I think that stainless steel is probably better for you than aluminum. It has automatic turn off, which for me personally is nice. It has better steaming power. Longevity, I can't say anything about that because I've only had this machine for a couple of weeks, but so far I'm having a good time. So that's it. It's a long video anyway. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.